Hello and a very warm good evening and a very warm welcome to a very special program called Cricket Predicta on NewsX, powered by 1xBet. Today marks the thrilling conclusion of the IPL League stage with double headers in the final Super Sunday of the season. The first match of the 68th of the season sees Sunrisers Hyderabad face off against Punjab Kings at the Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium in Hyderabad starting today, which is currently on. And they've done a good job, 214 for 5, but that's for a later occasion. Currently, Rajasthan Royals taking on Kolkata in the evening at Paraspara Stadium, Kolkata, has already secured the top spot in the points table and qualified for the playoffs, while Rajasthan, under Sanju Samson leadership, has also made it to the playoffs. However, a win for Rajasthan could elevate them into the top two despite their strong start. Rajasthan has lost their last 4 matches, adding extra tension to the crucial encounter. Reflecting on yesterday's explosive match, Royal Challengers Bengaluru secured a playoff spot by defeating Chennai Super Kings by 27 runs. Chinnaswamy at the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru posted a formidable 218 for 5 with key contributions from Faf, who scored 54 runs, Virat Kohli 47 runs and Rajat Patidar at 44 runs. Chennai's chase ended for 191 for 7 despite Rachin Ravindra's 61 and Jadeja's unbeaten 42. Led Bengaluru's bowling with forever Glenn Maxwell. When we talk about him, I can't stop but introduce my lovely panel today. But on the first opening stance, it's Paul Dinette, the podcaster from Australia. We also have Stanley Chiodza, the bowling coach of the current Zimbabwean team. We've got Bhargav, who plays for Ranji, the first-class cricketer, who's also spent some time with Karan Sharma for RCB some time ago, and also making the debut is Umesh Sharma, who's the editor of Crick Tracker. But first, Paul Dinette, what do you make of the match yesterday? We were watching it together. What do you think of it?
Well, it's quite a wonderful spectacle. We were watching the game and enjoying it immensely, but we were also watching the view count.
Right.
And it went up and up, 30 crore, 40 crore, 50 crore. I think we worked at one stage that it was 20 times the population of Australia had tuned in. And I'm bound to say I'm pleased that I stood up for Glenn Maxwell yesterday.
Yes, you did.
16 off 5, only got a limited opportunity. But then Faf du Plessis, masterstroke, opens the bowling with Glenn Maxwell. Wasn't the greatest ball of all time, but he got a wicket off the first ball, bowled pretty well. And it was thrilling. And I can see why the view count went up and up. I hope it's not the last time we see Dhoni. But if it is, as people are saying on Twitter, how fitting that his last 6 in cricket was 110 metres.
Absolutely. We'll let Dhoni be on the other side. But let's talk about the Aussies. Did we not almost announce that Glenn Maxwell was the worst buy in the history of IPL? So I raise my hands and apologise, but your turn to take over from there.
No, well, he's got more to do because I think he's raised his average from about 5 to 7, so there's a little bit more to be done. But as I said, he had bowled well throughout the season with limited opportunities. He bowled again, and we shouldn't forget Cameron Green, a very important innings, 38 not out off 17. They all batted well. RCB, Dinesh Karthik was fantastic as well, and the master himself up the top, Virat Kohli, because after the rain delay, those 3 overs when the ball was spitting like a viper, Faf and Virat got through it. And it looked like there was going to be a cluster of wickets. Instead, Virat went along at finished up with a strike rate of 162, 47 off 29. It's not his most famous innings, but it's one of his most important in the IPL.
Absolutely. Stanley Chiodza, the coach himself, we were watching it together live, huddled together in a dugout. Stanley, what was so striking about yesterday's game?
Well, there was plenty of action for everyone. There was plenty of action, whether we're talking about stats-wise, whether we're talking about the stakes, whether we're talking about the sentimental aspect, whether it's Dhoni's last match, whether it's the last match between Dhoni and Kohli. It had everything for everyone. But I'll tell you what, it kept us on the edge of our seats. Nobody wanted to leave the room yesterday as we watched this match. But I think, if at all, everyone got something out of this match. RCB were brilliant. We talk about how all of a sudden they seem to do this season in, season out. Have a bad start, have a good finish. Some say it's not about the start, it's how you finish. Well, there you go. Something totally different, though, when you then talk about the game that's to come later on. The Rajasthan Royals, why do they find themselves in this situation? It's quite striking. You start well, they don't finish off so well. Are they in a situation where perhaps it's the weight of being in this position that they're not used to? Who knows? We'll get to find out later on today.
Well, we are not listening to Marcus Aurelius, the great Greek philosopher, but Stanley Chirza. You start bad, but finish well. That's a good line. I'm going to go on to Umesh Sharma. Umesh, welcome to the show. First of all, you make your debut on live television. But at the same time, what did the data speak yesterday? What were you so intrigued about the match?
I was intrigued about, there are a lot of factors because there's some interesting stat I would like to let you know. Like whenever in the history of IPL, RCB have recorded 5 or more consecutive wins, they've always reached into the finals.
Very good.
Like 2009 you look, 2011 you look at that, and 2016. These all were the 3 instances when RCB secured more than 5 wins in a row. And let's hope for the best this time. And there is an interesting fact also as well. There's another stat which says RCB has never lost on 18th May in the IPL history.
Well, that's a great content that you've shared with us. Talking about content, I'm going to go on to Paul Dinate right now, and I'm reading a tweet. And this is a little concerning tweet, but I must read. This is Rohit Sharma. The lives of cricketers have become so intrusive that cameras are now recording every step and conversation we are having in privacy of our friends and colleagues at training or on match days. Despite asking Star Sports not to record my conversation, it was and was also then played on air, which is a breach of privacy. The need to get exclusive content and focused only on views and engagement with one-day break, the trust between the fans, cricketers and cricket. Do you think he's making a valid point here? You're a content creator. You do podcasts every day. What do you think of the plea of Rohit Sharma to not to invade the privacy of the players?
Well, I understand where he's coming from. I mean, we are in such a high-stakes world where, as you say, everyone's trying to get an edge. It's a long time ago that it used to be that the journalists were basically so good friends of the players that they'd go for a drink with them after play. They used to be very reluctant to even have the stump microphones on, especially in England. Australia got the stump microphones in the 1970s. England refused because they wanted to give the players ultimate privacy. So I can understand where he's coming from, and I suppose you've just got to accept that in this country where the passion for the game is so much and everyone's trying to get an edge, sometimes lines are going to be crossed.
Absolutely, but this time Rohit Sharma has actually called on the host broadcasters not to cross the line, and they have done that perpetually on an ongoing basis. In fact, one of the tweets actually took the private conversation between him and Abhishek Nair, and that was tweeted from the official handle of KKR. Later they deleted it. But what's going wrong? Stanley, if you're the coach of a high-stakes team, which you will be in some times to come, what advice will you give to your players?
Well, it's kind of difficult in a situation like this because you then ask yourself a couple of questions, and perhaps to management as well, in the sense that how did a recording device or whoever then managed to record this, how was he or she, how were they given permission to be in that sort of scenario in the first place? So in a time where parameters around security, around cricketers is concerned and high, you then ask yourself, was the proper procedure in this case followed? Yes, look, it's hard to caution players at a time when they are in a position where they feel, or an area where they feel they are comfortable to speak their minds. Where then do they get an opportunity to speak their minds? If supposedly this happened in a change room, you've got the option, you've got the ability, and that's your safe zone to speak your mind. If they can't speak their minds in a change room, then we're destined for trouble.
Absolutely, that's trouble. I'm also introducing, we're privileged to have Bhargav, who's the Railways Ranji Trophy player, first-class player. He comes from the place, and he and Jasprit Bumrah grew up together. Karan Sharma, they play together, Abhishek Sharma. My question to you, Bhargav, is do you reserve your comments, especially talking about Jasprit and the other well-known players through the IPL, and you've got to be limited in sharing the information? Is it an inbuilt mechanism, or you've been asked just to go slow? Go on.
Absolutely. as you said, it's been privacy issue is there, and people want not to know about their insights, what they are thinking and what their plans. I think absolutely Rohit Sharma, as you said, he won't want to anyone know what's his plan for the next season before the mega auction. So absolutely we have to stay content about everyone's plan. They might be discussing with us, but we cannot let anyone know what they are thinking and what their plans.
Absolutely. But let us know your growing up memory with Jasprit Bumrah, arguably the greatest T20 bowler of all time. Just tell us your growing up anecdotes of Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, when I saw him, he was 19 years old and he was then also very quick, very fast, very deceptive. So, but one thing is for sure that he never likes to get hit in the nets as well.
Oh.
Like he has broken so many of our bats. We always ask for bats from him because he has broken so many bats. If we hit him for a boundary, next few balls are going to be ripper, bouncer, yorkers. So we are kind of used to of it, and now international cricket is also facing the same thing. He doesn't like to get hit.
Yeah, and that's his economy rage, Paul, didn't it? That talks about Jasprit Bumrah. But I'll come to Paul. Just give us another anecdote of your players who are playing inside the IPL. Just any of the memories, maybe Jasprit Bumrah, maybe Karan Sharma, maybe Abhishek Sharma.
Like, obviously with Jasprit Bumrah and Akshar Patel is also from Gujarat and we have played together. So he's very chill kind of guy.
He's very comical.
Yeah. So he's come from small town. He doesn't take like very intent. He plays, he stays in the moment. So he bats and ball really well. But otherwise, after the cricket, he's very chill. But when he goes on the ground, he knows how to bat and how to bowl. He's very smart, economical. He's not very like extraordinary talent, but he's very reserved. Whatever he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one thing you were telling me about Jasprit Bumrah, that his mother is a principal. So he's a fast learner. Has he learned the art of not bowling a no ball?
Yes, absolutely. Like that incident happened in 2019, I think, against Pakistan, and he came back to Ahmedabad. We were practicing together and we were discussing what are you doing to change that no ball, and he was saying that I am doing this in run up. He increased his run up. He's not running too fast, but he increased his run up by just walking a couple of yards. So obviously he is a quick learner. You won't see him making same mistake for 2 or 3 games as all the world has seen. So like very young, very good learner. He wasn't bowling outswinger as well. Recently we have seen in test matches he's bowling outswinger at will. So yeah, we can always say that he's very quick learner and he is a very deceptive bowler.
Absolutely. Quick learner and a deceptive bowler. Paul Dinette. He's not an Australian, but he's still world's best. What do you have to talk about? Because we have the option of either shifting our focus to today's match, which is a dead rubber, but at the same time talking about players for the World Cup and the players who've done brilliant at the IPL. So, quick moment.
Well, if you give me the chance to choose, I'd say I want to talk about the last over last night, Yash Dayal. Now, people will remember last season where he bowled to Rinku Singh, his childhood, well, not his childhood friend, but his friend from first class cricket.
Right.
Needed 29, no chance, and went for 5 sixes. A humiliating, heartbreaking moment for him. His mother was so upset she couldn't eat for several days. I can empathise with how she must have felt. He came on to bowl, needing to restrict Chennai to under 17. Right. First ball, MS Dhoni hits him for 6. Wasn't a good ball. The next ball is one of the most impressive balls I've ever seen in sport because he bowled a back-of-the-hand slower ball. Imagine the pressure, thinking at this stage they only need 11 off 5, and I thought, they're gone, they're going to lose this, and he's going to go down as the man who twice has been hammered. He has the courage to bowl that back-of-the-hand slower ball.
Let me interrupt you here. Is it because the actual ball went out of the stadium, so they had to get a replacement ball, which was a dry ball? I mean, I'm just looking at conspiracy
theory. I have seen that. 110 metres, he hit it too far, came back with a dry ball. But wet ball or dry ball, I'm not bowling a slower ball at that point. I wouldn't have the courage. He did, got Dhoni out.
Let me ask the bowling coach. Stanley Chudza, you're the bowling coach of the Zimbabwean team. Would you ask your guy the most crucial time of his life? It's like Chetan Sharma bowling the last ball at the Sharjah and Javed Miandad hitting him for 6. Do you think yesterday's ball of Yash Dayal was exactly in that situation, pressure cooker? Would you allow him to bowl something like that? Obnoxiously strange?
Well, the thing is this, with bowlers, first things first, you select them for their strength.
Yes.
So if he believes in that moment in time, his strength is the slower ball, you've got to back him. You've selected him for a reason. He's gone out there. He trusts in his ability to bowl those variations. He thought that the best ball for him at that moment was to take pace off. He executed. He got the wicket. There will be days when you try and execute that slow ball, depending on how it behaves off the surface, it'll go for a 6. He tried a slow ball, the first one. It went for 110 meters. He came back because he believed in it. He nailed it. We can say the ball was changed, but importantly, new ball, weight ball, you still have to execute your skill to perfection. He did that. He came back strong into this game, and look at the results.
Absolutely. Look at the result, and it was an historical result. That's what IPL does to you, whether either it makes your career or just lets you go outside in absolute oblivious. Umesh Sharma, my question to you is focusing a little bit on KKR today. We've got some stats going on your television. Just take us through the KKR's match play today.
Actually, KKR has quite a bit of very good season so far, and like under Gautam Gambhir, they have played brilliantly. And before I start further, I would like to let you know one stat. Like in the previous qualifiers, whenever KKR entered into the qualifier first as the table toppers, they have won the title, 2012 and 2014. In both the seasons, they have won the title, and they played the first qualifier. And then that time, Gautam Gambhir was the captain of the team, and now he is the mentor of the team. Now let's see what happens. And now come to today's match. KKR has a very good season so far, but on the other hand, RR had a disappointing ending of almost in the league stage.
Right.
So they will also be looking ahead to finish on a winning note. But the KKR will have a moral advantage today.
Absolutely, moral advantage. Pandit, what do you make of the rubber today? And what Stanley Chiodza, the professor, the philosopher Stanley Chiodza said, you start bad, no problems, but if you end up on a high, you saw what happens. Do you think RR is a classic case of starting too good and struggling in the end?
It's intriguing what's happened to them. I mean, you can make a case to say that they've been not unlucky, but that you can make some excuses for the 4 straight losses. If I sound like they're trying to defend Australians, but
yes,
they lost by just 1 run to SRH. Delhi, they got done by Jake Fraser-McGurk, Abhishek Porel, and Tristan Stubbs. Anyone can get done by them. They got 220 against them, and RR got 201 in reply with Sampson scoring 86. That was pretty good. The next 2 games, low, slow pitches that, sometimes that happens in the IPL. I think they will be saying to the groundsman today, given it's their second home ground, please give us something a little bit faster.
Absolutely. What are the strengths, Stanley Chiodza, what are the strengths of KKR you've seen? And then I'll come back to you, Bhargav, for Chandrakant Pandit. You've been coached by him and that part. But Stanley Chiodza, what are the strengths of KKR?
I think the one good thing about the KKR is that they're not really dependent on individuals. Every now and then there's somebody who's putting their hand up. This season, it's been an all-round performance from Narina, but up the order as well. There's been Phil Salt. We'll look to see what Gubas does when he gets an opportunity to replace him today. But in between all of that, even in that batting order, in the middle, there's been some good performances to back the good starts that Phil Salt and Narine have done. And even in the bowling, it's not just Narine alone. He may be the top wicket taker, he may be economical, but he's bowling from one end. Somebody else has to do the job on the other end. So they've complemented each other. They've worked as a unit. It's not about stardom, which is the one thing that there's no standout performer. Yes, we talk about Sunil Narine, but he's not doing the job on his own. Once somebody does the good job, somebody else is backing up, which is exactly what I like about KKR this season.
Well, let's talk about Chandrakant Pandit, the man himself who's leading the charge. You've got some fond memories of Chandrakant Pandit, Bhargav.
Yeah, absolutely. Chandrakant Pandit is very well-known coach in Indian domestic cricket. He's gone to MP and won Ranji Trophy. He has gone to Vidarbha and won Ranji Trophy. He has gone to Mumbai, his hometown. He has won Ranji Trophy with Mumbai. So I think he's very disciplined coach. So that's his main point. He'll keep all the teams together. Everyone has to go to dinner at the same time. So the discipline is his main mantra, and team will gel in very well, and he'll do well with the even ordinary cricketers. He makes a good out of them.
Absolutely. He makes the brilliant, from an ordinary cricket to a brilliant superstar. Paul Dinesh, you've got some anecdotes about and some stats.
I just wanted to take the chance to ask the question because his record's absolutely unbelievable, but there are a couple of players who not necessarily enjoyed his coaching so much. David Visa, Ashutosh Sharma, there's a couple of others that have sort of maybe not liked that hard disciplinarian taskmaster. We had the case in Australia with Justin Langer, enormous success, but maybe one or two of the players didn't like that. Have you ever seen signs of that overly harsh taskmaster
Yes,
coming through?
absolutely. My father was one of them. Right. So, yeah, he's made a very interesting point. Bhargav, I'm going to throw it on to you. Indians don't like discipline, especially the bigger star you become, the less disciplined you are. Correct?
Correct.
Just talk about that part. Come on.
Like,
let it be open.
As you say, like when he was coach, we have to come back by 10 o'clock in our hotel rooms. So a lot of things are there. People will not like it, but he brings result. With any of the team I have seen, with very ordinary teams as well, he has bring result. He has given result to associations. So if you are talking about the team sports, I think he knows how to bring results from Indian culture.
Umesh Sharma, you've got some anecdote about Chandrakant Pandit. Go on.
Yes, exactly. And in the beginning of the tournament, like whatever Ashutosh Sharma said about him, like Chandrakant Pandit didn't let him play like independently, and he didn't very much enjoy his coaching tenure. So what I want to say on this, like the same incident, I would like to recall you all what happened on the homework gate scandal in Australian team when Mickey Arthur asked for the 4 players and were subsequently banned from the team for a game. And so every coach has his personal disciplinary policies.
Paul Dinesh, come on and talk about that personal, that incident. Come on.
I'm expecting it sledging from you, Sunil, but it's coming from all angles now. Homework gate, that's something we've got very, very interesting memories about in Australia because, yes, you can imagine a bunch of Australian cricketers who probably didn't like school very much, now suddenly being told you've got to submit your homework or you will get suspended. It wasn't long after that Mickey Arthur himself got removed and Darren Lehmann came in, and there was almost a response to that it was like, okay, enough of this intellectual nonsense. We are just going to hit the ball hard and bowl fast and sledge. And so the team went in very much a very different direction. So, yes, probably the middle ground is probably the right way.
Absolutely. Stanley Cherza, what is your favourite team today? And as we come into the last leg of our cricket predictor, what's your prediction today?
I think the Rajasthan Royals will take this one for one reason, and possibly I'm seeing KKR maybe tinkering with their lineup just to make sure that they have enough reserves in the tank for that final. They might give some new rookies or some other players within that squad an opportunity to play before the final.
Well, Bhargav, what's your take right now?
I think I'll go with the KKR because they are a very balanced team, and in Guwahati we have seen that it's not very high scoring game and ball seams around there. It's not that flat pitch. So I think KKR will fancy their chance, and without Butler, I think RR is also struggling to score some runs.
Absolutely. Paul Dinesh, your final words.
Yeah, I agree. I think Narayan and Varun Chakravarti are going to be very difficult for RR to contend with. But even if RR lose today, I still give them some chance of doing something interesting in the playoffs.
Well, quick 10 seconds from Umesh Sharma and we wrap up our show.
Okay, so I would like to go with RR because they are coming off 4 defeats consecutively. So they will be desperately looking for a comeback. So they will have a chance today.
Absolutely, they'll have a chance today. Well, that's all we had time for. I thank all my panelists from the studio joining in. One coach, the current player. The other one is a cricket editor and my best friend, Paul Dinesh. The Aussie sledger, the guy who makes it happen, and he's a tweet king. That's all we had time for. Thank you very much for joining in.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.